What's up, everybody? This is GreyMan here with another Medical Monday. So basically today we're going to go over best medications to stockpile and a few tidbits about that. Now again, I'm not a medical professional, and I'm not these are my opinions and my opinions only. That being said, do your own research. Make sure you look into a lot of different things when it comes to the medical side of prepping. You don't want to be caught off guard. Anyways, now that we got those out the way, I wanted to say welcome and thanks for watching. I'm glad you guys are here. Hopefully you will get something from this information. Alright, so a lot of people have the question, how much medication should I store for emergencies? That's kind of a common question. With preppers or even with people not preppers, you know what I mean? And this is not really a one-size-fits-all, answer. Sorry. I'm like trying to think of the best way to kind of figure that out and how to say it. But you kind of want to consider your worst-case scenario and calculate the number of meds required to adequately take care of your needs. And then you may want to stockpile a little extra, depending on the size of your family, mags, and all that stuff like that. So you need to take that into consideration as well. And also, you kind of want to restock your supplies every couple of years or so and dispose of old medications, to ensure that you always have a fresh supply. Also, another key thing that some people may forget about is to plan for unique needs of other family members. Do those family members have allergies to medications? Do you need to store medications for infants and children's? Do you have any special needs medications that you need for chronic medical conditions? Do you know anybody who suffers from maybe, let's say, seasonal allergies and things like that? Does anybody have an issue with pain management and all those things that need to be looked at in regards to the medications and things like that you are storing? Now, this is kind of a funny thing, and I kind of want to go into, storage conditions for medications. And don't worry, we're going to get into medications. I just want to go over a couple of other things before we dive into that, because this is relevant. You want to store a lot of your medications in a cool, dry, dark location, and you want to keep the packages, in its original packaging unopened. Like, let's say, blister packs or medicine bottles, when you buy ibuprofen, how it has a seal and stuff on there and stuff like that. Because there's a misnomer. And every bathroom you ever go into, there's a medicine cabinet. And it makes sense, medications in your bathroom and the medicine cabinet and all that fun stuff. But there's a lot of heat and humidity in there, and which can degrade medications quickly. So not the best place. Like I said, a cool, dry, dark location and original packaging, and you should be good. And we'll go into, right here in a second, into the shelf life. But one thing I wanted to add is please keep all your medications in a safe place and away from children. You don't want them to have access to that. You don't ever want to have an emergency like that. All right, so we get a lot of questions in regards to shelf life, the shelf life of medications, and some different from others. It's best to try to keep a fresh supply, like I said, in rotation in regards to your medications. And it can be complicated at times, and I understand that. I have a note here. Maybe there's a book that you guys can look into. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it at? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so I found it. Let me see if I can pull it up here on my computer screens. There's a book by Cynthia Kolecker. She's a medical doctor. She's author of the book called Armageddon Medicine. It's an outstanding book. You guys should check it out. And she'll kind of go into a lot of information. And it's good to have like a hard copy. I know you can Google things and find things on your phone, but that's a good book. So Armageddon Medicine, good book. Check it out. You can probably find it on Amazon and stuff like that. If you guys like, if you guys want that information, if you can't find it, send me something in the comments, and I will find the link for it and send it to you guys. I wish I had it with me right now, but I do not. It's probably in my library in my my other room. Anyway, so back to medication, man. You should expect a gradual loss of potency over time. And what I mean by that is, you got to look at the appearance, the color of the pills and the medication. Make sure they haven't changed, they don't look weird. Usually, if everything looks good, it could be a possibility that it's safe to consume. Like I said, the storage of it, the temperature of it, the packaging of it, a lot of that will significantly affect the shelf life. Liquid medications, now that's a whole different ball game. Dun dun dun. They're just not as stable as like your tablets and pills and medications like that. They really have a short life, short shelf life. There we go. Almost like a tongue twister, right? Anyways, so let's go ahead and dive into the best over-the-counter medications to store. You know what I mean? Let me pull up my bullet points. And me, I love my bullet points, man. I love having notes. And the reason I say that is just because it just keeps me on track, and it's just relevant to put out decent information for you guys to digest, per se. So we'll start with something common like ibuprofen. It's everybody knows what ibuprofen is. There's it's Motrin, Advil. Those are some of the brand names. And no, I'm not endorsed by anybody. That'd be cool though, right? Right? No, I'm just kidding. It's an anti-inflammatory medication. A lot of people are familiar with that. Good for headaches, back pain, things of that nature. But like I said, everything has its pros and cons. Some people are get very irritated by ibuprofen and stuff like that, and that's why we want to, you want to have a broad spectrum of what you're stockpiling. Excuse me. But, we're going to start with ibuprofen. Next is Aleve. Aleve is basically another anti-inflammatory drug, but it lasts a little bit longer. It lasts, your ibuprofen can last anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, and you have to repeat. Naproxen, aka Aleve, will last a lot longer, and some people they prefer that differences of NSAIDs, as they're called, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications. Just if you really want that name. Another common one is aspirin. And just remember, aspirin should not be given to children under 12 years old. Like I said, do your research. Make sure that you pay attention. Low-dose aspirin is good for, heart attacks, strokes, blood clots, and things like that. But it also, it's a good fever reducer, anti-inflammatory for swelling, control pain, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Now, another one, you have your Advil, you have, everything that I've gone over, but another good one is Tylenol, which is acetaminophen. And the reason I say that is because if you're a woman, if you've ever been pregnant, or something like that, or even with children, they say things like, take Tylenol, don't take this. So remember things like that, you know what I mean? Think of the things at times that you've been to the doctors and you have certain issues with you and what the doctor recommended to you. Also, Tylenol doesn't, how's it say? It doesn't mess up the stomach as much as like ibuprofen does. Some people have more of a, what is it called? Not allergic reaction, but they have like a tolerance to it, and Tylenol is much better on the stomach versus ibuprofen. So those are just a few of the NSAIDs in that family. So you kind of want to have a full spectrum of them, and kind of like, there's benefits to each one. And it's good to just have on hand like I said, a broad spectrum. Anyways, I'm repeating myself. All right, so let's get into a couple other ones that you might want to stockpile as well. Is Benadryl. It's an antihistamine. It can relieve nausea, anxiety, hives, itching, respiratory infections. That you get that kind of like, it doesn't relieve respiratory infections. It helps relieve the symptoms from respiratory infections and stuff like that, like hay fever and stuff like that. When it messes with you. And funny enough, you can also use it, people who suffer from insomnia. If you ever go to, let's say, to the pharmacy and you see, sleep aids and stuff like that, if you look at the back of it, it's pretty much the same medication that Benadryl is. It's an antihistamine. And I'm not going to go through the long name. I can try to pronounce it, but I'm great at messing stuff up. But yeah, so Benadryl is another one. Also, I want to jump into Imodium. Imodium, you've heard of Imodium AD. It's used to control diarrhea and relieve, and intestinal cramping and whatnot. Because diarrhea can lead to dehydration, and that can be detrimental to your health, as we all know. Matter of fact, I was playing a game yesterday, and there was a question about dehydration. Dusty Data has this Jeopardy thing that he's doing. You should go check out Dusty Data. Sorry to throw that in there. It just popped in my head, and that kind of question kind of resounded with me. But yes, check out Dusty Data. He's going to do this Prepper Jeopardy thing, which I think is pretty cool. So go ahead and take a look at that. I thought it was pretty interesting. But like I said again, Imodium, it's another thing, an anti-diarrhea thing. It just helps. You never know. You never know if you're in the bush or if you're in a certain situation or shift event, how these things can come in so handy. You can also use Miralax. It's a stool softener for constipation and things like that. It's just sometimes if you get impacted, I know it's a rough topic to discuss, but it could save you. I was watching what was it? Was it Survivor or Naked and Afraid? I don't know. And this one guy was so impacted that they had to pull him off the show because of his diet and what he was eating. And when you're in a shift event, you never know that some of those things that might affect you, your abdomen and your intestinal tract. So again, Miralax, Imodium, things like that. Even glycerin suppositories, those can even help. They can relieve constipation. I mean, literally within minutes. Just look at some of this stuff. Glycerin suppositories. There's a bunch of different brands out there, but those are just some helpful ideas in regards to that. Moving on. So now we're going to get into like decongestants. Like Sudafed, Sufedephedrine, or however you want to say that name. Things that you want to stock up on. And if you notice, some places it's hard to get this stuff because people use it for bad purposes. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but if you can, maybe once a month or every couple of weeks, grab yourself some Sudafed and stockpile it. It's going to relieve stuff like congestion of upper and lower respiratory tract infections. Helps with common cold, flu, hay fever, allergies, bronchitis, stuff like that. It can be very helpful. So another one to stockpile is, like I said, Sudafed. Maybe some sinus medications as well. There's also Allegra. It's also antihistamine as well. Sometimes it's taken in combination with Sudafed. But like I said, do your research. Pay attention in regards to, maybe seek medical professional advice from your doctor before you take some of this stuff. But I'm just saying these are some of the things that in a shift event could come in super handy. Because basically with a combination of the two, it kind of helps you with increased relief of the allergy symptoms and whatnot. Another one that I noticed some people forget is Dramamine. And Dramamine is, it's for vomiting, motion sickness, like vertigo. It can even help with anxiety and insomnia. And like I said, it's Dramamine is nice to have. It's an over-the-counter, and it's good to have on hand. And I'm not saying go out and buy all the stuff at one time. Just slowly, if you see a bottle, something on sale, just grab it and add it to your. Everybody has a prepper pantry. This is kind of like your pharmacy or prepper pharmacy pantry. But yeah, so another one, a good one to have is people who have indigestion. If you're out in the woods and let's say you're cooking some stuff out in a shift event, and some people get really, really bad heartburn. So stuff like Pepcid, any antacids, Tums, Zantac, a lot of things. It helps with heartburns, ulcers, acid reflux. And funny enough, I've learned that it can also help with hives. And you can Google that. Like I said, I've just learned that there's some things out there that can actually have a dual purpose, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm really big into the medical thing, so I do a lot of research and dig into stuff because I'm curious how I can, some of these things can be cross-platformed into other ailments and things like that. All right, now we're going to dive a little bit into creams. Stuff like, let's say, hydrocortisone cream. Easily you can get it at Walmart. I mean, you can buy this up at Dollar Tree, dollar stores, a lot of different places. You know what I mean? It can help for, itching, and eczema. I can't even say that name. Poison ivy, for one. Hydrocortisone and poison ivy. It would definitely be a lifesaver at that point. If you have kids, or like I said, children, diaper rash, and unfortunately I want to say, if you get stuff down below, it helps with that genital irritations as well. But I'm just trying to be thorough, and in regards to what I'm saying, another good one is an antibiotic. Triple antibiotics. They're good for, there's a lot of different versions of triple antibiotics. There's Bactrin. They go by a lot of different names, but you guys understand what triple antibiotics are, I'm assuming by now, especially being in all the things that have happened in this world. But they're good for abrasions, insect bites, stings, any cuts, and stuff like that. You just want to put that on there. Some Band-Aids actually have it built into it, so that's another thing to look at. The Band-Aids that have the triple antibiotics in there, maybe stockpiling some of those for small owies and boo-boos. But just so you know, they will not help with they will not treat fungus or virus infections, just so you know. So they're good for certain things and not for others. So like I said, again, always do your research in regards to what you're using. There's another one. Hold on, I have it in my note. It's more of a complicated word to say. Is chlora, yeah. Chloramazole, chloramazole. Man, I can't say these words sometimes. And why do they got to make these words so hard? But it's an antifungal. To make it simple, you want to have antifungals. Like I said, you have your, your hydrocortisone, you have your triple antibiotic, but you also need an antifungal. It could be good for, you get funguses on your feet. There's a lot of things that can help with jock itch, ringworm, yeast infections, a lot of people, heavier set guys, you have skin fold infections where the skin meets the skin and it gets real wet and it catches fungus, which is, I know, is disgusting, but again, antifungal creams are also a benefit to have in Stockpile as well. So you're like, hey Gray, okay, so what about prescription medications? So prescription medications are going to be a little bit more complicated, and I know there's certain things that you can do in regards to prescription medications, but a lot of the things that comes to the forefront when people hear prescription medications is antibiotics. Now, I'm not going to get specific on here. A lot of you guys have heard on other YouTube channels. I'm just not going to bring it up, and but there's ways of getting antibiotics outside of the realm of the normal ways. Which I'm not suggesting. Like I said, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not telling you to do this. Just do your research. Now, there's like I said, with antibiotics, they do have a shelf life. First it was a year. CD said a year, and now they're saying 2 years. And like I said, go back into that book that I discussed. She says there are things that can last up to 5 years depending on the condition that you store them in. So again, it all loops back into each other, if you know what I mean. So let's kind of go over some of the best antibiotics for emergency preparedness. If you've ever heard of Ceflexin, there's so we have Ceflexin, we have Cipro or ciprofloxacin. Like I said, I'm going to butcher these names. Metro, yes, I'm looking at my notes because I'm trying to pronounce it correctly. I have it in my bullet points. Metronidazole. Anyways, and you have your normal stuff like, yeah, now my mind's going blank. Go figure, right? But everybody knows there's a full spectrum of antibiotics, and they all have different things that they can help with. Some people are allergic to antibiotics and specific types of antibiotics, so you have to look at that. You have to have had some sort of history where you kind of know this thing, because you don't want to give someone something that they're allergic to and they have allergic reaction. And that's why you kind of have to have a full spectrum of things. Like I said, with the Advil and over-the-counters, is you're going to have more than just that specific one. And they all have different things that they can help with. Cipro is good for like treating, let's say, anthrax, typhoid fever, abdominal infections, urinary tract, bone infections, pneumonia, bronchitis. There's some antibiotics that are better than others. And the Metro one, I'm going to call it that. It can be used to treat like parasitic infections, like Giardia, and for being I should have took Latin in high school, or not high school, in college, so I can learn to say some of these words better. Maybe it would have got me more fluent in saying some of these complex words. But it's. I think what you should do is look at all your antibiotics and dig into each one, because each one works well for certain situations. If that's what I'm trying to get out of this with the antibiotics, is there's different versions of antibiotics that sometimes they specialize in certain things. So you might want to dig into that. You have your basic antibiotics, and you have some more full spectrum and stuff like that. I'm trying not to go too deep in it because it's a touchy subject, and I know YouTube hates it when you talk about stuff like this. But I'm just trying to get information out there, man, and that's all it is. So this is just information, and again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm going to repeat that throughout this video, and we're almost wrapping it up, but this is just information that I'm, regurgitating to you guys, and things that I stock for my prepper medicinal pantry, per se. And like I said, if you guys also, there's also herbal remedies and things like that, and I did a video on that you can check out. Maybe I'll put a link, like they always say, put a link up here somewhere to that one if you're looking to some of the herbal things, and there's some books that I discussed in there that can help you with that. Now, you also may want to look into like specialty medications. I'm going to bring up one specific just because it relates to the whole prepping thing, and a lot of people are probably familiar with it. And I know someone's going to put in the comments, well, you can use this and you can use that. But yes, I know. But the one I'm going to just bring up is potassium iodide. And some people, hopefully most of you guys know what potassium iodide is. It's taken during a nuclear event, let's say fallout or something like that. It prevents the thyroid gland from absorbing, radiation, and it's just a must-have for preppers. Just in case, you never know. And let's say it's not even a nuclear explosion or something like that. Let's say over in Japan, they just had a recent earthquake again, but one of the earthquakes, I think it was a year or so ago, affected one of their nuclear plants, power plants, and spread radiation probably through all kinds of different means. But potassium iodide, and I know there's a few others, and you guys are more than welcome to put them down in the comments to share with the rest of the subscribers that are watching this content. Because it's nice. That's what I like about the prepper community, is we all have something to add and throw in there together. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch on that real quick, because it's something that I think is kind of cool to have, and you can find this stuff. Some of the stuff you can find on Amazon pretty easy. You can probably find it at other places as well. Not saying that you have to go to Amazon for everything. It's just convenience, and while we have that convenience, might as well exploit it, right? But I mean, this is, like I said, you just want to create, a nice prepper medication stockpile. You never know when these things might not be accessible in certain events. If there's runs on stuff, when the pandemic came up, it was hard to find cold medication. The shelves were wiped out, just like the toilet paper debacle. A lot of medications were gone, even like isopure alcohol and all that stuff. It was just gone. But as a prepper, and you have a stockpile of this stuff, you're like, okay, well, I'm good. I have plenty of it. You know what I mean? And when it comes back available, rotate it. Like I said. What else can I think about? If you ever have stuff like Tamiflu, or there's another one out there. But anyways, they're used to treat influenza. It is a what's it say? It is a prescription required for Tamiflu, but if you ever get some or something like that, or have extra or whatever, it might be something you want to throw in there, because like I said, it's good to prevent the flu and stuff like that. Anyways, there's some things I'm probably missing, and you're more than welcome to drop them in the comments. I know there's lots of stuff up there, and I can't go through every single thing. I can't, get a physician desk reference and just go through every single thing in there that you should stockpile, but these are just some of the basics. I just wanted to touch on some of the basics and to help you get you started and maybe get you into the whole medical preparedness aspect of things. And that's the reason I've been doing the Medical Mondays. Something I did want to address, if everybody knows who Hutch Homestead is, you need to go check out his channel, man. He's going through a rough time, man. He's going through a rough patch right now. There's a lot of stuff he's going through. And I think Grim might have posted it, but he does have a Cash App, Hutch Homestead. I'm going to see if I can find the link and put it either in the description or anything, or just email me and I can send it to you. Hutch is part of our community, and anytime a community member is going through some stuff, man, if we can help them out some way, be it $1 or whatever. I know everybody's going through tough times, but Hutch is getting hit pretty hard. And go watch his last video, and you'll get what I'm saying. So go please check out Hutch Homestead, and let's support him, man. He's going through, like I said, some rough times, man. That being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. Please like, subscribe, and share. Share this on all forms of social media. You can always share my videos on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram or MeWe or wherever you're at, man. It helps with the channel analytics. Please give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you just hate what I'm saying. It is what it is. I can't please everybody. I've been told. I've tried, but evidently I can't. But thanks for being here, man. You guys have a great day. I hope everybody's staying safe out there. I know we're going through a lot of stuff up north with these winter storms. So please stay safe. Be prepared. I love you guys. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys on the rebound. God bless.